In a forgotten corner of the kingdom, nestled between rolling hills and shadowed forests, there lived a young stable boy named Rowen, born with no family to claim him, no last name to carry, and no voice anyone ever cared to hear. Rowen's life had always felt like one long, unbreakable chain. Every morning, long before the sun kissed the horizon, he would rise to sweep the stables, his small hands working until his fingers were raw and sometimes bled. Every night, he slept on a bed of cold, prickly hay beneath the very horses he cared for, their gentle breaths the only lullaby he knew. For years, he watched the nobility ride past him on their magnificent steeds, laughing, feasting, living lives so full of color and light. Meanwhile, he remained in the gray shadows, unseen, unheard, and utterly unwanted. Deep inside his chest, he carried a quiet, persistent ache, the ache of someone who had started to believe. Maybe greatness was never meant for someone like me. But fate, as it so often does, is a strange and unpredictable current. It doesn't always roar like a waterfall. Sometimes, it whispers like a gentle stream. One evening, as the sky bled into hues of orange and purple, Rowen was scrubbing a rusted, forgotten saddle. An old traveler, a woman with tired eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 journeys, approached him. Her smile was filled with stories yet to be told. She looked at him, not at his tattered clothes or dirt-smudged face, but into his very soul. She said softly, her voice like the rustling of ancient leaves, "Boy, you have a gentle heart. Hearts like yours are not born to live in the shadows." From the folds of her cloak, she produced a small, intricately carved wooden charm. It bore the crest of an ancient and mysterious order, the Order of the Dawn Seekers. They were a group known not for their strength in battle, but for their uncanny ability to find truth where others saw only deception. Her final words were simple, almost prophetic, hanging in the cool evening air. "Take this charm. Go where you are needed." Greatness does not come to those who chase it. It comes to those who serve with honesty. From that night onward, something shifted within Rowen. He felt a sensation he had never truly known before. Hope. It was a fragile, flickering flame, but it was enough. And for the first time in his entire life, the world felt infinitely bigger, more expansive, than the four walls of the stable. Weeks later, Rowen found himself traveling alongside the old woman, whose name he learned was Melon. Under her patient guidance, Rowen began to change. He grew stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. He became more confident, more certain that his life had a purpose, that destiny had finally chosen him, and soon, he became too certain. Rumors began to spread like wildfire, carried on the wind from town to town, tales of a princess, locked away in a formidable bandit's fortress. As soon as the words reached his ears, Rowen felt his chest swell with a newfound pride. He looked at the charm hanging around his neck and believed, with every fiber of his being, that this was it. This was his moment. He was meant to be the hero. He was meant to finally be seen, to be admired. Melon, sensing the shift in his heart, whispered carefully, her voice a gentle caution, "Rowen, the world is not always what it seems. Not every princess needs rescuing, and not every rescuer is ready for the rescue they imagine." But Rowen didn't hear her wisdom. He only heard doubt, and doubt felt just like the heavy chains he had worn his whole life. His pride, once a tiny seed, rose like a violent storm. "I can do this," he insisted. "I should do this. I deserve my chance at glory." Melon tried one last time to reach him, her gaze filled with a deep, knowing sadness. "Child, ego blinds more sharply than darkness. If you rush in for the sake of glory, you may not return at all." But Rowen, high on his own imagined destiny, waved her concerns away. He had tasted just a little bit of confidence, and now he wanted the entire feast. "Maybe you never had the courage to try," he snapped, his voice harsher than he intended, the words leaving a bitter taste in his own mouth. Melon's eyes dimmed not with anger, but with a profound sorrow. "If your heart is closed to guidance," she said softly, "then I cannot walk beside it." And with that, she stepped away, leaving him alone with his decision. His arrogance, and the treacherous path he so stubbornly insisted was meant for him. And so, Rowen marched toward the bandit fortress, chest lifted high, the wooden charm clutched tightly in his hand, never once realizing that the very first trap he would fall into was the one he had meticulously set for himself. Ego often disguises itself as destiny, wearing the mask of purpose and heroism. And when the heart's desire for recognition grows louder than the quiet voice of wisdom, it often walks straight into the jaws of danger. But we must remember that every meaningful journey begins with a misstep, and within every misstep, there lies a lesson waiting to be discovered. Where are you listening from tonight? Share your corner of the world in the comments below. It's always amazing to see how far these stories travel. Thank you for being here.